Today we are choosing happiness, we're choosing to entertain you, but most importantly, we're choosing to bring you some weird love stories. You are joined by Diana Master and Aina Raizokwe on Smell the Coffee. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing good. Love is in the air
Oh,
for some people. Like, I can't relate, but
your Feb is already gone.
Feb is gone. We are almost mid-year now.
Heck, it's true. June is just next month.
Yeah, December is almost now.
Yeah, it's almost December. But can we talk about how time has been simultaneously flowing but also not flowing?
Yeah.
It's moving fast but not moving at the same time.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
And also, winter is not here by now.
And I love it. We thank God.
I'm ready to.
Because, like, I do not like getting cold. I am not the girl to be cold. In the cold. That's why I don't like getting cold, because I'm always feeling cold constantly. And it's so irritating that I can't just be free and enjoy, like, a good warmth, you know. So I'm so excited that that winter is not yet here. I hope it only arrives in July. Yeah, so I'm very because we did experience some cold days.
Yeah, like a cold front.
Yeah,
but yeah,
we experienced those days. I wanted to find out from you, when is it the appropriate time for one to move on, like from a relationship? Let's say you've broken up with ex, and now how long will it take you to recover from XX so that you can go and date XY?
5 minutes.
So 5 minutes. Okay.
5 minutes.
I think for some people it's faster than others. I think it's an individual assignment.
I think so too. Yeah. Okay, so like the thing is, I would say, depending also on how long you guys were together, the bond and things like that. Because sometimes maybe it's just like a situationship. You guys were just maybe in a talking stage for 2 months, and then it's like, okay, cool.
No, but
okay, thank you, next.
Yeah.
And then you get like a relationship where maybe the other party is the one that decides, okay, you know what, this is not working for me, but you were still invested or something like that. That could take some time to heal, because I think you'd constantly be like, but what went wrong? What did I do or whatever? And then you find people that some of them, although they were in a relationship, both parties are just disconnected. Like they'd already done their healing process while still in the relationship. So it ended up just becoming like a relationship where it's just two people living together. Yeah, we're just together for the sake of being together, but we don't love each other anymore or anything like that. So I think also, not just depending on the person, I think it also depends on the circumstances surrounding the relationship. Yeah.
Word. Yeah. But nonetheless, after the break, we will be talking about weddings and relationships, people who are ready to move on. Stay with us.
Attention, kids! We have some exciting news for you. We are back, and this year we are planning on going big. So listen up. If you are in grade 3, grade 2, grade 1, or pre-primary, we are bringing your free school workbooks to you soon. This is all you need to know about where you can find your books. Books will be available for free in Republican Street Sale newspapers and all Namibian Sun newspapers. And for all pre-primary kids out there, your books will be delivered to your school in all 14 regions of Namibia. And there's more. Pre-primary books will also be printed in 9 different languages. Check out when your book will be available from the schedule right here. That's not all. Our free online school is there to help you along the way with video lessons and more books to download. You can also follow along on NTV every Monday to Friday from 9:30 to 11:30 for your daily online school lesson. We thank all our sponsors who are helping to build a brighter future for Namibia. Contact us at info@acdtrust.com and follow us on Instagram.
Now, y'all know how much I've been talking about my wedding and how I want everything to be
and how we are going to be flown out.
Like, it's just going to be so beautiful.
Imagine.
But in as much as it's beautiful and in as much as I'm spending so much money to feed people and to make people happy, I think rules should be set.
Okay.
Right? But this bride and groom are actually being blasted for their 15 outrageous wedding day rules for guests. Let's get into it. Rule number 1, this is Dash and Dash's big day, not yours. Number 2, do not get in the photographer's way. The attire is black and gold, not red, blue, green, and definitely not white. Do not rearrange seats. We have a seating chart for a reason. If you didn't put out any money for the wedding, keep your shoulda, coulda, woulda to yourself. Your opinion is irrelevant. Number 6, pace yourself when drinking. No big announcements or proposals. If you can't handle or dislike the music being played, simply go home. This is a celebration, not a funeral. This is a taking over the 1999s and 2000s type of event, so there will be twerking. Number 10, use hashtag so-and-so when posting pics. 11, do not sit down all night. 12, no outside liquor. If you are caught, you will be escorted out. Rule number 13, refer back to rule number 1. Number 14, the bride and groom said what they said. And finally, turn all the way up. Now, hundreds of Redditors railed against the couple, with one writing, doesn't sound like they're mature enough to get married. Another quipped, how am I supposed to turn up and not sit down at least once? Shoot, I'd be taking so many selfies just sitting down using their hashtag. Others, however, said the rules were not exactly outlandish, but they did bristle at the bride and groom's tone.
I wouldn't be offended by the list. I am a huge advocate of telling the truth.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are irritated by the tone because it's the truth.
Yes.
And it sounds a little bit, people say the truth is harsh.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's just the truth. It's not your wedding. Don't wear white.
Yeah.
It's black and gold. That's just the way it is.
And if you don't want to come, then don't.
Then
it's
don't
fine.
come. People will say that we are rude because our tone is a bit harsh, but no, guys, rules are rules. It's, for example, if somebody tells you, Diana, don't do that. You can't spend your money on useless things. Why don't you invest in a house? You are going to say, oh, she was so rude the way she spoke to me. But no, she told you the truth. Just say that you cannot handle the truth. And I think a lot of us are there in life. We like to be pampered.
Yeah.
We want to be
told.
We
want people to tiptoe around our feelings.
No. Like at this age, I don't even have time anymore. I'm a straight shooter now. I tell you exactly how it is. If you are offended, you are offended. But as long as I told you the truth. So
That's
shout out to the couple. Yeah.
Like Doja Cat said, I said what I said. Like, I honestly agree. I think I would actually send like a list of rules, especially that rule number 6, pace yourself when drinking. Don't come and now be making a fool of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And dancing on tables and ruining
or
my
a fight.
party.
You know how people, when they get drunk now, they want to get into fights and whatnot. Nah, It's one of the reasons I was like, open bar or not, because like with open bar, people adjust.
Yeah. Remember at my birthday, I had the rule that don't post me.
Yes.
Some of my friends called me out. Yeah, you were telling us not to post. But dude, it's
my
party.
birthday. Yes.
As a matter of fact, it's my pictures. Why are you posting me? Don't post me.
Don't post me.
No, apparently that's so rude.
It's not being rude, because again, if you can't follow that, then just don't come. If you don't like what's there, then don't come. Simple and straightforward.
Guys, in life, there are rules and regulations.
Just follow them. If
Everywhere you go,
leave.
you will find rules and regulations. You just have to make a choice whether you're going to stick with them
or not.
And that's fine.
Let's normalize actually sending out wedding rules with the wedding invites.
I think that's something I would consider. Yeah.
Because also someone else was saying,
don't bring a +1
unless stated that you can.
If I say, do not bring a +1, you can't come with 7 other people. In our culture, if I invite you, you are going to invite another friend. That friend is going to invite another friend. What?
Jeez.
No.
That's why someone else was saying it's kind of like with these rules, maybe the bride and groom know their families and know how they are as people.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But nonetheless, let's move on to news about relationships. Makazi, the superstar, says she is ready to get back to the dating game. Taking to her Facebook timeline, she shared with the followers that she has been single for a while now. This is exactly what she said, and I quote, "So I must be single until when? You? It's been a full 8 months and no one's coming to fool me, Nyana. Guys, I'm miss being in love. Aibo, this is no longer normal, she wrote. She and Master KG have had an on and off relationship for the past 3 years, and each year they seem to be breaking up, but they found a way to each other's arms again. Earlier this year, when Master KG announced their split on Facebook, they still love his Facebook, hey? The musician and music producer said he and his queen, Makadzi, were no longer together, but would continue to work together for their fans. The Limpopo celebrities couple first broke up publicly in 2020 after they chose to focus on their career. So now Makadzi is back in the game. If you love Makadzi, if you like Makadzi, shoot her shot. She's healed. She has taken 8 months off to work on herself and to heal. So when you do shoot your shot, make
Single
sure
and ready to mingle.
Make sure.
You must make sure.
Yeah.
No, again, 8 months, plenty of time.
Yeah, plenty of time.
I feel like you would know yourself whether or not you're
yeah,
ready
really.
to start dating again. My friend actually said to me the other time, like, you may think that you've done your healing and you're fine, and then someone else comes in and then you're like, yeah, actually no, I wasn't ready. Because sometimes we need someone to show us those parts of ourselves that still need to be healed.
Yeah.
Because as by yourself and all alone, you can only do so much healing. So now if I come into your life, that's when you're like, oh, actually, okay, like I don't respond to you then and there. And then now you start getting flashbacks from back then. So you thought you have healed, but then someone else comes in and shows you, yeah, no, you actually still have a lot of work to do.
That's why for me, if we break up today, I'm not speaking to you again. I'm deleting your number.
Why should we still be friends after
I don't have beef
dating?
with you. I don't hate you. If your house is burning, I'll probably save you. But like, I just have no business with you again.
Thereby saving, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm petty. I don't know. Depending on how it ended. But anyway, after the break, I get to talk to Luando Mfunemberi about the importance of will and testaments. Stay tuned. Now today we are discussing all things will and testament, and my sister-in-law, the wonderful Luando Mfunemberi, is joining us yet again. We've spoken about so much. We've spoken about family law and maintenance. We've spoken about divorce, and now, of course, that one thing that people don't actually do but need to do. And we are all scared of death, but hey, you gotta be prepared when the time comes because it's everyone's way of life. Anyway, how are you doing today?
I'm great.
You're
awesome.
great?
Yeah.
You're here to give us some more legal advice?
I'm here to educate.
Oh, you're the plug, not the plague. We appreciate your efforts. All right, so start us off by telling us a little more about a will and testament. We, of course, have heard about it, but not a lot of us actually know what is a will and what is a last will and testament. Why is it important for individuals to have one in place, regardless of their age or financial status?
So, last will and testament is essentially a legal document that informs a person of another person's wishes on how to distribute their assets and how, for instance, children should be taken care of once they are no longer here. That's essentially it in a nutshell.
Yes. So why is it important for people to have it? Because a lot of people have that misconception of, oh, but I'm not a millionaire, so why would I have a will and testament?
Well, your last will and testament allows you to speak from the grave. That's essentially what it does. And it's important because, yes, you might not think you have much, but you might have people who depend on you and people who you look after. So all you're doing is speaking from the grave on how your legacy should continue.
I see.
And it's important because it gives you a voice from beyond the grave. Whereas if we have to decide for you, we might not be doing what you would have done were you alive.
I see. So tell me, in my will and testament, like you're saying, it's me speaking from beyond the grave. So even my silly little request, I'll be like, I want my Air Force Ones to go to who? Actually, you guys need to cremate me. All of that, I can state that in my
all
last
of
will and
that.
testament.
Look, you have what we call freedom of testation, which means that you are free to express your wishes in a will. Of course, they should be legal. They have to be legal.
Okay.
But you're free. Nothing is silly. It's just helping you have a voice from beyond the grave. So you can put it in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So could you explain the basic components of a will in Namibia, including how assets are distributed, the appointment of guardians for minors, and any specific provisions that the viewers should consider?
So if you have a last will and testament, your will and the general guidelines are governed by an act. Again, everything in Namibia is governed by an act. Unfortunately or fortunately, this act is very, very old.
Old? Oh, no.
Yeah, it's very, very old. It's from 1965.
Jeez.
But it's the one that we still use for now.
Okay.
So basically, in terms of this act, for your will to be valid, it must be in writing, meaning you and I can have a conversation and you say, look, this is what I want to do. That's not a valid will. It has to be in writing, and it has to be done in front of 2 competent witnesses.
I see.
So in terms of the act, competent witness is someone who's 14 years and older. And every single page of your will must be signed by you and both of those witnesses. If you are illiterate and unable to sign or write, you're allowed to use a mark, but that mark must be done in front of a magistrate or a commissioner, and your witnesses must sign on every page.
Okay.
If those aspects are missing from your will, it is not a valid will in terms of Namibian law.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I think the other part of the question was the distribution.
Yes.
So your will in any case appoint what we call an executor. So this executor will be, I like to call them a foot soldier.
Okay.
They will essentially be the person who ensures that certain rules are met, certain rules are fulfilled in terms of the act, and that they give the information to the lawyer to help with the distribution.
Okay.
So normally, people who draft a will and who have minor children will appoint a guardian in their will. But what we always tell people is don't appoint a guardian without speaking to that person first. Because it's an important job, but it's also not an easy job. And you need to make sure whoever you appoint as guardian is able to look after your children should you not be there.
Exactly.
So you will, in any event, speak in your will as to who you want to have a guardian. Of course, the situation is different if you do not have a will. If you do not have a will, then interstate succession applies. And there, people have to bring applications to a children's court for them to be appointed as guardians and all of that. You still have to do that when you have a will, but the will would have already spoken to say, this is what I want to happen, and you're just going to the children's court to enforce that. But where there's no will, someone has to bring an application to be a guardian.
I see. Where
And
there's
it
no
won't-
will, there's no way.
So the distribution of assets, if there's a will, you'll be guided by the wishes of the person. If there's no will, then what the master of the court will look at is, was the person married? Did the person have children? If the person was married and the person had children, the next question is, how were they married? In or out? Because that again plays a role.
I see.
So if the person was married in community of property, they're only owners, 50% owners of the joint estate. So we can only deal with their 50% of the joint estate.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But in their 50% of the joint estate, 25% will usually go to the spouse, and then the rest is divided by the spouse again and
Amongst the
the
kids.
minor children.
I see. All right.
yeah.
So sorry to cut you short
Yeah.
there. But I understand also, again, depending on the country that you're in,
Yeah.
there are some countries where if the couple is married and the one spouse passes away with no will or testament, everything automatically just goes to the spouse.
Yeah.
And then, like you're saying, then that spouse would then divide things amongst them. Have you ever had any of these cases where there wasn't a will and now people are contesting the distribution of whatever was left?
Most of the estates that are being contested these days are actually estates with wills.
Okay.
I'm finding a lot of people contesting someone's will. And we actually have a very active forensics, a scientific forensics department in the police. And I think they've been very busy in the past maybe 2 years because people are
Jeez.
contesting wills.
Jeez.
When it comes to interstate succession, and that is those are the types of estates I deal with mostly, or we deal with mostly at our firm. The biggest disputes are not on contesting the division. The biggest disputes are personal.
Oh,
because
okay.
not all children have the same mothers, not all children have the same fathers. Some people will dispute that that's a child, some people dispute that it's a spouse. So the issues are usually very personal.
I see.
And especially if a spouse is not the parent of all of the children. That's where the disputes
issue
come
comes in.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So how often should individuals review and update their wills, and what life events or changes in circumstances should prompt a revision to ensure their wishes are accurately reflected?
I'd say you should update your will every year, because
Okay.
your life changes every year. Or you should review it at least every year. Again, it's a subjective thing. Different things prompt you to change your will. Maybe you've got a promotion at work, or maybe you've come into money from an inheritance yourself, or maybe you've gotten married, and maybe you've had children, so your will has to change. It's subjective. You will personally know what you need to include in your will, but you should ideally update it every year.
Every year.
Yeah.
All right. And like you said, basically, so if I just write my will in testament, I need to have two, basically, what's the word that I'm looking for? Yeah, two competent. No, there's another word, Londo. You know that word.
Which
of the
word?
person that sits there and they're like, yeah, a witness. There we go. Jeez. A witness. My goodness, I cannot believe my English ran away from me for a second there. But anyway, I would need that, and then of course get it notarized.
Your will is not notarized. So from my experience, most people will go to a lawyer or will go to banks to have their wills executed. That's
Okay.
the word. So as you're having your wills executed, you'll be guided by the person who is drafting your will. So if it's a lawyer, the lawyer will guide you and explain all of the things I've explained to you, but obviously in greater detail. And you will then advise the lawyer how you want your assets to be distributed and all of that.
I see.
Then the witnesses will come through before you sign it, because you will look over the draft to make sure it reflects your wishes. And as you sign it, your witnesses will be present and they will sign it as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see. All right, so I better get to cracking and better get to writing my wills, because if my Air Force shoes go to the wrong person, I'm haunting people.
And you should.
I
and
am
you should.
definitely haunting people. But anyway, Londo, thank you so very much. I got a crash course in family law. I got a crash course in divorce, wills and testaments, even like, girl. You plugged me on. Like I said, you're the plug, not the plague. Thank you so much, Londo, for joining us and
It's
for
a
giving us a little
pleasure.
bit of insight. But do tell us before we let you go, if people do need your assistance, where can they find you?
You can find me at Jutila and Hans Legal Practitioners. We are still not that tech savvy, but that's only because in the legal fraternity, it's a little bit of a old school thing not to advertise. You let your work speak for yourself.
Oh, I see.
But our number is 061 249942, and you can reach us at that number, and you can just set up an appointment and we can see how we can help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with our goodbyes. now you know how to make an Americano at home. You know what to do in order to make sure your will and testament is settled. Thank you so much for joining us today on Smell the Coffee. You've been spending your morning with Dana Master and Aina Raza Koyo. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place.